Hey all, here are OS Reviews. Today we're taking a quick look at the Rove MK08W. This is a 2-in-1 smart air purifier fan, essentially an oscillating tower fan, but also combines a air purifier in the middle. It will collect dust as well as remove any germs and bacteria in the air once it is running. So it has kind of a 2-in-1 functionality, and as a smart unit, it also has a companion app that you're able to maneuver in terms of turning it on and off, set schedules from your smartphone, either iOS or Android. It comes in two color variants, either this black model, but also a white version can be picked. So I'm always a fan of products that combine multiple functions into one. This can save not only on space, but you have just one app to control everything instead of requiring two separate appliances in the room, which is neat. So this entire section down below here is technically the air purifier, and there's a filter in here that you can replace. They even give you a spare one. It looks something like this, a fairly standard HEPA filter, and you can swap it out after a couple of months of use. And otherwise, everything on top here is the tower fan component, which is relatively quiet for what it is. And the whole concept of a quote-unquote air circulator is that it isn't blowing only in one direction. It goes up, down, left, and right, and kind of simulates a more gentle breeze as if you were outdoors, moving all of the air effectively across the entire room. It makes a noticeable difference once it's turned on versus off. And there is also a control pad on the front that you can use to quickly turn on and off certain features like the fan as well as the air purifier down below. There is a light that will change color depending on kind of how clean your air is. If it's red, it means there's a lot of particles. If you're in kind of a smoky area, there's been a wildfire, that will be more of a dangerous zone. Compared to blue or green generally means that the air is already safe. And as far as the purifier is concerned, they claim that it's a 5-layer process, including a UV sterilization light inside. So all the air that gets sucked in will first be kind of killed if there's any germs or bacteria, before then filtering out any major dust particles or kind of allergens before pushing the air out. Certified by SGS, along with other licenses when it comes to the efficacy of the purification and filter parts that they're using in here. Here's also a quick comparison, which is rather generic, but tells you the difference between an air circulator versus a ordinary fan. It reaches a further distance as well in terms of the turbines, and also a little bit more quiet at the same time. And Rove claims that this should work effectively for a room up to 2,000 square feet. So it's quite large in terms of the area, but I would say maybe a larger bedroom or living room space is going to be comfortable enough for this purifier to handle. Again, not too loud at all. Taking a closer look at the construction though, it is made predominantly out of polycarbonate plastic. Also know that there is no remote control included in the box, so you can use the touchpad or the companion app on your phone to control it. So one of the other areas that cost was cut a little bit, although you do get a quick user guide. It's also worth mentioning that the height of this unit isn't the tallest in the world, so putting a phone kind of next to it, you can kind of tell that it's only going to reach about waist height if you're standing upright, rather than being kind of a taller fan. It works fine because of the hinge here is quite flexible and it can go all the way up in terms of pushing the air around, so it's still relatively effective. Aside from the PMI air quality sensor there, you can also take a look at oscillation if you want the entire fan again to spin left and right, or if you want to pause one of the axes of movement. Furthermore, you also have a LED light that you can activate, providing some gentle glow in the dark, for example. You're also able to change the fan speed down below there or revert to the auto mode, and you can also tap on this key here to check on kind of the life left on the HEPA filter. Right now we're still at 99%. The filtration strength can also be adjusted up to PM10, PM2.5, all the way down to PM1, as you can tell there. There's kind of a beep speaker in here as well that you can hear for some quick audible confirmation, since everything here is touch-based. Now, the light button can also be pressed for 3 seconds to activate a child lock function, in which if a kid is then pressing on the keys, it's not going to trigger anything. Maybe the only downside is because, again, the height of this thing isn't the tallest in the world, you kind of have to crouch down to hit on some of those buttons, which is why I think the companion app is going to be a pretty good alternative. And on the back here, this is where you can pull off this cover to unveil the HEPA filter that you can wash and replace, as well as the sensor there for the air quality is detected over there. So let's actually remove this back compartment, and then you can see this is where the filtration system is going through, which actually uses magnets to otherwise lock itself into place. Now, taking a quick look at the companion app, what you'll want to do is click on Add a Device, turn on Location Services, and navigate over to Small Home Appliances, and then scroll down to Surroundings. You want to then click on Air Purifier or Wi-Fi. So one slight downside here is it seems like they're using a generic app, which is used for a lot of smart home appliances from maybe a lot of these Shenzhen-based tech. So as a result, it's all compiled into this one app instead of being made directly from the company. So certain things might be a little bit more one-size-fit-all. A couple of notes there is it only connects to 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi bands. So 5 gigahertz routers actually won't be compatible, so do keep that in mind. And to actually pair it, you have to press on this key here for about 5 seconds. You'll see the Wi-Fi indication light start to blink. You can then find this particular air purifier, connect to this, and then it will be sharing your Wi-Fi password with the air purifier. And after about 5 seconds or so, you can then see it show up as paired successfully. The UI is actually quite simple and intuitive. It shows you your current weather condition as well as the air quality currently. So right now it says that it's a great condition, the filter remaining percentage, wind speed is at low, as well as a minimum and highest amount of air particles in the air that were detected. And you can also go through some of the controls. So for example, tapping on mode, we can actually go into an eco mode, just the fan, just the air purifier, or both at the same time. And then the speed of the fan, we can also go into, again, the high, turbo, or a sleep mode. Features like disabling the touchpad, aka the child lock, can also be triggered. Purple light here, a little bit of a weird name, is actually the UV light. Do you want to turn this function on or off when you're doing the air purification? You can set this here. You can also set a countdown timer up to 24 hours. Afterwards, the fan will turn off by itself. Even the brightness of that accent light behind the fan, you can adjust to make it kind of dimmer or brighter, depending on your preferences. In addition to, if you want to be always on or kind of in a breathing mode, it will be slowly fading higher and lower in a more kind of dynamic animation that's going on. Under the schedule function, you're able to set up, similar to a smart robot cleaner, certain days and hours of the day that you want the fan to be running, and then turning off for some home automation control. So overall, it's a pretty simple app that does its job, and I didn't have too many issues in terms of connectivity, quite easy to understand. And in terms of efficacy, I will say that the air does feel a little bit more kind of refreshing once it is turned on. Maybe some of that might be a little bit of placebo effect, but certainly there is another motor that is circulating the air as well as a UV light inside that does, again, sanitize some of the air that is going through the bottom section, plus the kind of fan there does make the entire room just feel a little bit more breezy and cool, which could be helpful again in the summer season, especially as temperatures start to soar in certain regions around the world. So a pretty neat two-in-one product, and again, I like the fact that it does have some smart home controls using the companion app. So if interested, you can check out more details in the links down below, kind of a two-in-one, again, air circulator and also purifier. That's been a quick look at the Arove MK08W.